Summary of Zeitoun by Dave Eggers. The story of Zeitoun opens with the protagonist, Abdulrahman Zeitoun, and his wife Kathy getting ready to send their children Nadma, Aisha, and Safia to school. The setting of the story is New Orleans, Louisiana. Zachary, Kathy's son from her first marriage, is already there. Although they fight, and Kathy gets annoyed by Zeitoun's inflexibility, it's clear that they love each other. Zeitoun goes to work. He runs a painting and building business and is also in charge of a number of rental homes in the city. Kathy gets calls and handles business paperwork from home where she works. Zeitoun and Kathy are always talking to each other all day today, August 26th. As is usual for them, they are talking about business and other things with their usual smart banter. Then Kathy starts to hear that a storm is coming. At first, she's not worried because storms happen a lot in the New Orleans area, but as the day goes on, the news gets worse. But Zeitoun keeps ignoring it, even when his brother Ahmad calls him from Spain. It was Zeitoun's home to grow up in a Syrian beach town called Jabla with 12 other siblings. His dad used to be a ship captain, but after almost dying, he chose to settle down. Still, Ahmad and Zeitoun would both become sailors in the end. After going on ships for almost 10 years, Zeitoun finally settled down in Baton Rouge. There, he met Ahmed, a friend who put him in touch with Kathy. Kathy was born and raised in Baton Rouge in a Southern Baptist home. She was best friends with a girl named Yuko. Yuko later became a Muslim and married Ahmed. After her first marriage didn't work out, Kathy was drawn to Yuko's peace and happiness. She started to learn more about Islam and finally became a Muslim after being let down by the preacher at her evangelical church. After some doubt, Kathy eventually became a Muslim and married Zeitoun, who was already a devoted Muslim who was becoming very loyal to the country he had moved to. By the end of the day, Kathy had seen on the news that a family had died at sea because of the storm. The next morning, she chooses to follow the governor and mayor's advice and take their kids out of the city to wait out the storm. But Zeitoun doesn't want to go with her. He can be very focused on his job, and in this case, he really wants to make sure everything is okay at all the building sites and rental homes he is in charge of. At first, it looks like he was right because Kathy is stuck on the highway for hours on end on her way to Baton Rouge to visit her sister. The storm passes over the course of the weekend. It's strong, but not a surprise. But by Tuesday, August 30th, the levees that were keeping the water in break, and the city floods. By the afternoon, Zeitoun's house is 8 to 9 feet underwater. After moving as much as he can to the second floor, Zeitoun gets in an old boat that he bought from a customer because it made him think of his time as a sailor and starts paddling it around. Now the story goes back and forth between Zeitoun and Kathy. Kathy is angry at her family because they haven't fully accepted that she became a Muslim. She wants to leave. Yuko, her friend, comes over and takes Kathy and her kids all the way to Phoenix, Arizona. Kathy keeps pleading with Zeitoun to leave the city, but Zeitoun has found a reason to stay. He is able to save several old couples and a woman who was trapped in her flooded home. Among other things, he brings food and water to other people and feeds dogs that are stuck in people's homes. He works together with Todd Gambino, who lives in one of the rental homes on Claiborne Street, and Nasser Daoud, a friend who also left Syria. He is able to call Kathy every day from Claiborne, where the phone still works, and that's also where the three men meet Ronnie and let him hang out with them. Zeitoun hears from Kathy that the city is said to be dangerous and lawless, with killings, rapes, and gangs on the rampage. In fact, Zeitoun mostly sees people who need help and a lot of soldiers and police officers in full combat gear all over the city. On September 6th, Zeitoun had just talked to his brother Ahmad and was about to call Kathy from the house on Claiborne Street when a group of police and military officers broke in. They don't care that Zeitoun owns the house, they just tell the four guys to get in their boat. First, the men are taken to a staging area. Then they are taken to the train and bus stop, which is later called Camp Greyhound because it was turned into a prison after the storm. The guys aren't allowed to call or talk to their lawyers, and Zeitoun isn't even told what charges are against him because he has to go through humiliating body searches. He starts to think that the police might be suspicious of them because of some kind of terrorist activity. The fact that Todd is carrying MapQuest printouts and a memory chip in his pocket and Nasser is carrying $10,000 in cash, which is something that immigrants often do, doesn't help. The men are kept in an uncomfortable cell outside for several days. They see cops pepper spraying people from time to time, and almost every meal seems to include ham or pork, which Nasser and Zeitoun can't eat because they are Muslims. Finally, they are taken to the Hunt Correctional Facility in St. Gabriel, which is a real jail. However, none of the Katrina prisoners are given due process like the other prisoners are. Zeitoun is first locked up with Nasser, but then he is put in a cell by himself. He tries for a month but fails to get in touch with the outside world, let Kathy know he is still alive, and find a way to fight his jail sentence. At the same time, Kathy is getting more and more upset every day. For Zeitoun's family in Syria, Spain, and other places, she also has to worry about them. Kathy starts to think that Zeitoun may have died, even though Yuko tries to calm her. Near the end of September, she finally gets a call from a missionary. He says he saw Zeitoun in jail and is calling her against the rules to let her know he is okay. She also gets a call from Homeland Security telling her that they are no longer interested in her husband. Raleigh Olmeyer is the lawyer Kathy calls right away, but Zeitoun can't be freed for weeks. First, Kathy has to fly back and get witnesses for a court meeting who can say good things about Zeitoun. Then the meeting is cancelled, and she has to go back to her New Orleans home to get proof that she owns the house so she can post bail for her husband. Finally, they are back together. They stay with friends for a few days and then slowly go back to their normal lives. The couple starts to buy downsized homes in their neighborhood to fix up. That fall, they moved back into their old house and went back to work, but a lot had changed since the storm. Kathy is anxious and forgetful, which are signs of post-traumatic stress disorder. Zeitoun tries to see his situation as a test from God, but he can't get over how disappointed he is in his country and how angry he is that so many people won't see him as a fellow citizen and person. In order to deal with his feelings, he puts himself into work. Both Kathy and Zeitoun are hoping that they will continue to get better and go on with their lives.
About the author. Eggers was born in Boston, Massachusetts. He went to college at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Both of his parents died of cancer, his dad in 1991 and mom in 1992. After that, Eggers took care of his brother Toph, who was 8 years old, and moved to Berkeley, California, where he worked as an independent graphic designer to make money. Eggers wrote as a freelancer for a while before putting out her autobiography, a heartbreaking work of staggering genius, in 2000. It was an instant hit. Since then, Eggers has written a number of books, and these books have become more and more about American social problems. Additionally, he started the non-profit tutoring and writing center 826 Valencia and the independent publishing house McSweeney's. He lives in California with his kids and wife, Vandella Vida.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.